Itachi Uchiha, the secret spy of Konoha. Ulquiorra Cleffer, the secret strongest Espada. I've seen many debates on this, but no videos on the platform about it. So today I'm going to be taking the liberty of answering one of many Naruto vs Bleach debates. Ulquiorra is someone who drastically scales above almost every character in the Soul Society arc. This is important because we have some great feats in both power and speed in the Soul Society arc. Probably the best display of power in the Soul Society was the slaying of the Sokyoku. Reasoning for this is due to the statement of it being able to destroy the Soul Society. People try to contest this fact due to Aizen being the one that making the statement. But that doesn't necessarily make it wrong. Like, if Aizen said the sky was blue, would he be wrong? Not to mention, no one can test with this statement at all. In fact, the lore is more implied to be that it is the case. And along with conjunction with the data book statement saying it has enough power to overwhelm everything in existence, this makes it consistent. The Soul Society is a parallel to the world of the living, so just assuming they're only referencing the planetoid they live on, the Sokyoku would be planetary. Now to how Ichigo scales to this, of course he was able to block it. Now some people have some contingency with the fact that the Sokyoku wasn't at its full power when Ichigo blocked it. Though there are arguments against this, there's a better counterpoint, that being that Ichigo was able to destroy the actual pedestal of the Sokyoku that should be able to tank its own force. Not to mention, it's also stated in the data books that Ichigo can actually split the earth in one blow, and after this arc, just by existing or flexing his power, he was a threat to the world, as well as other captains or lieutenants just because they didn't restrict themselves. So Soul Society arc Ichigo should be planetary. Now it's already established, Ulquiorra is way beyond any Soul Society arc character. The probably best feat we have for Ulquiorra is that all the Espada members are required to be able to destroy Las Noches with one Gran Recero within their base. So how big is Las Noches? Well, as we can see, there can be potential visible stars within inside Las Noches. It's also been stated that there's been a star or sun within inside Las Noches on 4 separate different occasions, with a potential night and day cycles. It's also within inside Aizen's power to be able to create stars, as he has created pocket dimensions for all of the Espada to use, that being the Kaha Nagashioon. And even weaker characters like Yukio, whose ability is just to be able to create dimensions, also has a star within inside one of his many dimensions he has created. And he's just blatantly weaker than Aizen. Even from the movie Memories of Nobody, that is canon by the way, the character known as Sana was able to physically push back both the Soul Society and the World of the Living that was described in the movie as 2 stars. Not to mention, the Kokyoku itself also contained its own star within inside it. And dimensions with stars in it should be able to take around 8.14 times 10 to the 44 joules of energy to create or destroy. Now with all the Espada able to do this, even the weakest, that being Yami, he should be able to do this, and Ulquiorra being the 4th. If we just assume that each Espada after this can do this 2 times stronger, just assuming they're 2 times stronger than the last, then Ulquiorra's base should be able to output this feat over 64 times over. And due to a resurrection being equal to a Bankai, it would be a 10 times amp, plus with a second resurrection it would be 100 because 10 times 10, and Ulquiorra's final output would be able to output 5.20 times 10 to the 48 joules of energy or solar system level. Speed is very simple. As we've already established, Ulquiorra is above any Soul Society arc character. When even at the beginning of series Ichigo could reflect and deflect Seros, which is just stated to be a beam of spiritual light, people try to argue it's slower due to being spiritual, but I don't know why. But even without that, Ichigo was able to fight Renji, who should be comparable to his fellow lieutenants, who could dodge the Nagashioon, which is stated to be a beam of light on 2 separate occasions. He was also able to briefly clash with Gin, who was at the time stated to be able to attack at the speed of light. So a pre-Bankai training Ichigo should at least be faster than light. And with his second fight with Renji, he'd be 5 times more powerful and making him at least 5 times the speed of light. And when Renji got his Bankai, he'd be at least 10 times stronger, or at least 50 times the speed of light. And with Byakuya being at least 2 times faster and base Ichigo being comparable to him, if not even stronger, they would both be respectively 100 times the speed of light. And in their Bankais, it would be respectively 1000 times the speed of light. Yami being blatantly faster than Ichigo only gained temporarily blitz due to him not being good at sensing and underestimating Ichigo, as it was stated within inside the data book. So if Yami being at least 2 times faster, he'd be 2000 times the speed of light. And if we follow the same formula as we have established from 10th to 4th Espadas, Ulquiorra's base would be 128,000 times the speed of light. And in his second resurrection, he would be 12,800,000 times the speed of light. And if he would ever use the technique known as Bala, which is stated to throw attacks at least 20 times faster than they can throw, it being a little bit weaker, then Ulquiorra will be able to throw attacks at over 256 million times the speed of light. For battle applicable abilities, he has Power Null, as in Bleach the stronger spiritual pressure will null the other's AP and or hacks, some pretty good regeneration, durability negation as they just directly attack the soul, power amplification as with the Black Zero he can amp himself an order of magnitude or up to 10 times more, as well as his Lanza del Repargo. He is stated to be his strongest attack, so just assuming it's 2 times more than the Black Zero, it would be able to amp or throw attacks 20 times stronger than what he can already output. Even speed application with Bala, he is stated he can throw attacks 20 times faster than the normal Zero, just not as strong. As well as the infamous Soul Crush, which is like the Power Null, but just a stronger spiritual pressure or stronger person will just completely neg the other person's soul and almost kill him or kill him at times. Itachi's scaling is him quite blatantly scaling off KCM Naruto. Naruto at this time quite casually scales to Kurama, either him from having KCM 1 or 2 having all of his chakra, or even him having to gain KCM he had to beat and fight Kurama. So where does Kurama scale? So something we have to go over or get out of the way is that Kurama is planetary, like the downplay has to stop. On 2 occasions it was stated that Kurama can destroy the world in the 4th data book. Even in newer medias from the Shonen Jump, Bonus, and Jujutsu Directory, it states that Kurama's Bijudama has the power to blow up the earth. Even off visuals, he can casually throw multi-continental Bijudamas that are just meant to redirect, not even a full power Bijudama. He can even fight beings like the Ten Tails, whose just pure chakra amount has enough chakra to be almost that of a planet. Or even Jubito, who, while bloodlust, was gonna quite blatantly obliterate the world. By the way, I do think Itachi does scale to KCM stage with Naruto. Due to him scaling 2 or above internal Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke, who fought on par with said Naruto, but regardless of that, Itachi does somewhat scale to Kurama via scaling to the lesser Narutos, which would make Itachi planetary. As we've already established, Itachi scales to KCM Naruto, so where does he scale? Firstly, we need to find where base Naruto's speed is. It was stated that base Naruto's even surpassed Kakashi. Twice. He even did better against Pain in a base-to-base comparison to Kakashi, so it's quite blatant that it's stronger than Kakashi. Now something we have to get out of the way is that Kakashi is faster than light. Due to him being able to conveniently dodge Itachi's Water Fang pistol bullet, which states in the 4th data book that the bullets move at the speed of light. Kakashi dodging him makes him FTL and by Naruto by proximate. So how much does KCM amp him by? I recommend you watch my Sage Mode video for the scans and explanation for what I'm about to say. In my video we found out a few things, 1 being that Sage Mode's a 5 tails equivalent, 2 the actual amp for Sage Mode's a 10 million times amp, and 3 each tail increases at 10 times amp off the next. Though an actual 5 tails amp would be 25 times less in the Sage Mode, due to Naruto getting that passive 25 times amp from Kurama in base, that Sage Mode just completely gives him the extra 25 times. Making a 5 tails amp or 5 tails Biju Chakra Cook of 400,000 times amp. Due to KCM being the full 9 tails, it would be followed by 4 extra sets of 10s, hence the 10 times 10, again watch the video. If we follow that formula, KCM would be a 4 billion times amp, making Naruto or Itachi 4 billion times the speed of light. Now for Itachi's abilities, I'll only be going over his relevant abilities. Atamaratsu, a black flame that consumes their opponent in response to the user, in this case being Itachi. It's actually stated that the Atamaratsu is actually even hotter than the sun itself. The Susanoo, an all-out defense and offensive ninjutsu. The Susanoo itself contains many other ninjutsus, like the Yanamir, the shield without any physical form that can change and alter the properties to become the perfect shield. Tosuke Blade, a blade when pierced can put an enemy in a genjutsu for all of eternity. By the way, the Susanoo is an astral being and it can even directly attack the soul. And for his last and most infamous of all his ninjutsus, the Tsukuyomi. Basically, if you make eye contact or even contact with his finger, he will put you in an infinite genjutsu world where he controls both space and time. Basically, a potential 4D mind hack. Measuring both Itachi and Ulquiorra base-to-base stats, we do see that Ulquiorra is millions upon millions of times stronger than Itachi just within his base. But when it comes to speed, Itachi is a little bit faster than Ulquiorra in terms of like if we're using his fastest abilities, he would be around 15 to 7.5 times faster than Ulquiorra. So for how this fight will go down, obviously Ulquiorra in just his base could essentially one-shot Itachi, no difficulty, so let's just more focus on Itachi's hacks and abilities that would come in conjunction help him with his speed advantage. The only real hacks that really matter would be Atamaratsu and the Tsukuyomi. The Tsukuyomi could probably mindfuck Ulquiorra, just maybe make him just feel, depressed, or just really just mentally and physically strain him if he gets a hit on him with it, which he could. But the thing about that is, like, he would put him in something for up to like probably 72 hours within a second. But after that second's over, he probably spam battle a lot, but that won't really help him. It can, stop him from moving, but that won't really do that much to him. The real thing to really focus on is Atamaratsu. The real reason because of that is because Atamaratsu, if it's actually true that it burns as hot as the sun, that ability is essential to probably just one-shot Ulquiorra. That being the case, is even people as strong as Yuha, though being the clone of his base form, was so strong he could barely withstand the heat of the sun without blunt vein. If that's the case, then literally Ulquiorra would evaporate if it's actually true that Atamaratsu is as hot as the actual sun. Now, this being the case, you could argue that he could trap him in the Tsukuyomi and then spam Atamaratsu, and if you do argue that, it could be a GG game for Itachi. But it's not going to go down like that. The real reason because of this is because the one sole hack that Ulquiorra has that would just completely neg the speed advantage, and that's the Soul Crush. The Soul Crush is just by him existing, he's not only going to power null all of his abilities just instantly due to him being upon millions of times stronger than him. Like, you can make the argument that none of his hacks or abilities would even work in the first place due to the power null just negating all of them. He probably wouldn't even have to do anything. He'd just stand there and let the pressure of his soul just completely kill Itachi. And if he even somehow could get a move off, it would probably just also get negged as well. Funny enough, like, even if Itachi could actually dodge one of his abilities, his EOA attacks are just so massive, it would just also evaporate him, like, pretty almost instantaneous. This fight's very one-sided because of the amazing strength advantage and just the fact that the Soul Crush is just there. Literally, as soon as the fight starts, this is actually what's gonna happen. The fight starts, Itachi dies. Even if you give him the Edo Tensei state of himself with none of the restrictions and the full benefits, he'll still die because Edo Tenseis can still be accepted or killed to by soul-based attacks, which is kind of Ulquiorra's thing. So no matter where you shape this, just pure AP and hacks advantage in this, even regarding this small speed difference, Ulquiorra is gonna absolutely destroy Itachi. Although, in hindsight, this would be a closer match if it wasn't for the power null thing. And if you do argue that potentially Atamaratsu is actually like being literal as hot as the sun, it would have the capabilities of one-shotting Ulquiorra potentially. But that just won't happen. Literally, he will just die as soon as the fight starts. Like, he would just get soul crushed into existence. With that out of the way, that'll be all. Thank you for watching the video. I really put a lot of work into this. I'm trying to put this same amount of effort into all my videos. I just thought it's about time I start in one video and then hope on for the rest. Again, this was just a video I did. If you like any recommendations, you can always donate to my Cash App, which will be on screen right now. Again, you don't have to do that. You can always just recommend in the comment section below, like I do that as well. Anyway, that'll be all. Don't forget to join the Discord links in the description below. And that'll be all. Mr. Crafty, out.